Welcome to the SceneDirector mod, and this time we were looking at synchronized animations. So, synchronized animation, as demonstrated in this scene actually, are animations where you have multiple actors or props which are playing movements which are coordinated. Synchronized animation has been one of the things we've been working with probably for a month and a half now, and it shows a big promise on making even more realistic machinima movies. So, to explain to you a bit about how synchronized animations work, this video will take some time. We are going to give you a few examples and show you how we can do it while using the mod. So, when you are working with synchronized animations, you will first go into the preview mode for synchronized animations, and you will identify the animations you want to use, and then you will add them to a shortcut. When you add it to the shortcut, they will be available as a shortcut key with the Alt and your numpad with numbers 1 to 9. And if you execute that when you're not recording, it will just play the synchronized animation once. If you execute it while you are recording, this will be recorded. And in a typical scenario, you would need then to go into the edit scene functionality to modify the scene and to place the synchronized animation correctly according to your scene. What's special with synchronized animation is that it actually teleports all the different actors who are being part of the synchronized animations in different directions and in different distances between themselves. That's the main type of synchronized animations we have. In addition, we have something called manual placement animations, where you are responsible yourself for placing the actors in the right distance. These are things like the melee takedowns, where you need to make sure the distance and the direction of the actors are correct. So, let's jump right into it. Synchronized animations can be found here in the animation menu. I'm just going to delete the recordings I have so they don't interfere, and we'll delete the synchronized animations we already used. So this is a new menu where you look at the synchronized animation. If you want to go into single animations, use the same preview. There's also a test here, which is mostly used for the team working on identify the synchronized animations. And here MuseTube has been amazing on identifying the synchronized animations and adding them correctly, tweaking them with height and with which props to use. So without him, we wouldn't be where we are right now. And we also had lots of other good input on this from other Machinima members like Zack System, Fixing Good, and others. So the synchronized animations will look like this when you first start them. You have a search function, and then you have a set of categories which the synchronized animations are. We right now have 460 synchronized animations placed into these categories, which you can see on the screen. Maybe we should have a look first on a few examples. So the one we used in the scene is this Dodge car. So here you see there's one candidate where there's 4 actors, as you can see in the title, where they're just standing around, and then there's another one where they're actually jumping, running in a different direction. There's 2 different ones where they're running in different directions. So when you're in the preview mode, it will repeat the same synchronized animation over and over again. You can rotate the camera if it's not being rotated automatically. You can also move it up and down if the height is not correctly according to where you are placed right now. So some of these heights, there is no sort of correct height for the synchronized animations. We can't really read that out from the GTA files. So each animation has been adjusted, and there's sure a lot of things we need to adjust even more. But the good thing is that you can yourself adjust them with the edit scene to work up and down. So I want to just show you a few examples, and we'll also give you an example from YouTube on how to set up a scene. So I think I'm just going to show you a few ones. So let me first show you the search. So if we have you can now search for, search for beat, and you can also use and or not filters. So if I want to search for maybe dead, we have these two animations. If I want to search for CPR, we get this type of animation. And if I search for CPR or dead, we get both of these hits at the same time, which is very useful. So let's go through the process of how you can actually work this yourself in a video. Let's show first a YouTube video, and then I'll go through explaining a bit more. So we want to show you a video using a dock animation. We're going to use this one where there's 3 actors actually involved. The 4th actor is just standing around, and we're just adding this to the shortcut, which means we can actually play it afterwards. It will then show up in the list here of synced Animating 1, which has the shortcut Alt num 1, which means that's how we execute it. One thing I forgot to say is that when you are working with synchronized animations and are testing it out, I suggest you have 4 actors designed, because some of these animations use up to 4 actors, and if you don't have all the actors, it can't really play out the scene as it's intended to be. Right, so now we're going to show you the scene, and we're going to show you how we place it. So we have this one animation, we record the scene, and we just press Alt 1 immediately. As you see now, the animation is intended for him to be standing back against the wall, but right now he's not doing that. So we're just going to watch this finished here. And of course, if you now swap actor number 2 with somebody else, the animation will be played with that actor instead. So these are 4 actors I've just chosen for my movie, which I'm going to work here. So I just stop the recording, and I will now use the edit scene functionality, which was released quite recently. And what I'm first going to do is I'm going to disable all the non-animation ones. So you have a status at the bottom for each of them. Just disable it. Here we have the animation, and when you're in the edit scene, it will play in slow motion, so you can more easily place it and do other things with it. For now, what we first want to do is we want to get the rotation correct. So we want this actor to be standing back against the wall here, and then you use the value from -180 to 180 to actually place them. And I think this is around -130 here. So now you see it looks to be the right angle. So now what we want to do is actually move him closer to the wall. Then we just go into select the edit position, and then we move the camera forward. And as you see, as you're moving it and just releasing the key afterwards, you are getting closer and closer to the position you want to do. So let's have a quick look here and see. So we're still quite a far distance, so we're going to move it even more. And now we can also hold the control key in to do the fine alignments if we want to do. I'm just deselecting it, getting a better camera angle so I can see when we are in the right place. Selecting it, then it turns red. Now gradually just moving it inch by inch towards where we want to be. I think I'm pleased for this scene. I'm pleased with this. Then I'll see it as a walking afterwards, so I'll just disable those as well, because they don't really add to my scene right now. Alright, so now we can test the scene to see how it actually works. So now you see they're playing out the scene. There's no collision detecting here, so if you move them too far into the wall, they would just disappear. And this is where you then would record. You can now hide the menu, and you can also hide the recording markers here if you wanted to just see the scene the way it's intended to be. You move upwards with pressing the keys. So there are some other options here. You have the use recording location, or you can also have the use actor location. You have an option to do looping, so loop the same one over and over again. And if your synchronized animation has props, you can select to keep them afterwards so they don't disappear. This check means that it checks it every checks it every tick to see if it's actually finished, so that it jumps to the next step quite quickly. Alright, I mentioned that there's two different types of synchronized animation, so we're now going to show you a different one, which is one of the melee ones. So let's do one of these stealth ones. Try this one. Okay, I'll just move the camera. Okay, so as you see now, there's written manual placement for this animation. I've added to a shortcut now so that it's now shortcut number 2. So let me just move actor number 2 a bit away. And all of these synchronized animation currently work best when you always control actor number 2. Actor number 1 I mean, and actor number 2 is your sort of first target.
What's up?
So we place them like this, and now we want to run the animation with Alt 2. We can even hide this one. And you see they are executed at the same time, but you need to make sure the placement is correct. Because if you then, for example, move like this, it doesn't give you the effect you intended. So there's quite a few of these, and all of these are, you can see the marked manual placement here when you're previewing it. And some of these we haven't given proper names yet, they're just referring to the animation name, so we'll go through that as well. So, the last type of animation I want to show you is the individual one with props. So these are basically where there's objects involved as well, and it can be more than one actor, but it's typically just one. So this is one with a garbage bag. So here you have a prop which is being created when you execute it, but you also have an animation added to that prop, so it has a lifelike set of movements when you're running it. So this is the way it's going to work. The prop here is the garbage bag, and it just throws it away. And there's lots of these different ones. There's some here with a teddy bear. There's a parachute one, if you want to put up on a parachute. There's a payphone. And with things like that, you can also make props in the real world invisible, and then you can spawn this directly at the right location where the invisible prop is. So it gives a more lifelike experience. You have things like doors. And opening of doors. Of course, this looks quite silly when you don't have a room to walk into. We have things like a money bag, grabbing that. And there's a few ones which doesn't work, like this rocking chair. We haven't found the right chair to use, so it doesn't look good in any way. But we'll get through that. There's things like computer, there's sitting by desktop. There's a wheelchair. More moves like this. So the categories we have here, the advanced melee is bigger fights. Like two people fighting. I think a lot of people have used this and successfully in videos already. We have things like more aggressive. We have people who are arguing. And here there's actually a prop with money as well. We have more arguing. We have arrest animations. Some of them are manual placement, some of them are automatic. We have walking out of a car. Animal ones, here you typically need to have a retriever or a cougar or something, which one of your actors, because it looks quite strange when you have only, So you need to basically swap those actors. You have typically the multiplayer celebration ones. You have things where you are drinking. Cigar here. You have explicit category. You have more friendly interactions. We have just normal hanging around. This is a kind of a kiss hug. We have the back massage. Cutting wallet. Yeah, just showing a few individual props we've seen already. The melee ones. Here you typically also want to assign that weapon you have, and then we'll make a natural movement with that type of weapon. We have other ones, which are sort of generic ones. Here you see an example where we don't have the right adjustment for height. We go the wrong way. Oh, sorry about that. And I guess the last one we have is the sports one. We have a roller coaster animation and vehicle things. So the vehicle ones, some of them are synchronized animation, so they're placed exactly like on the motorcycle. Other animations, you need to be passengers in the same car, and you need to be in the right seat the animation was intended. So for example, for the gun to driver head, you need to be placed in one of the back seats, and one way of doing that is adding individual actors or pets into the front seat, the front passenger seat, so that you're seated in the right place. I think that's what we want to show you now. We'll continue working this. I think there's a lot of things to do to tweak the animations and to go through the rest of the animations, but I think this is ready for a beta release now, and then I expect in a week or so we'll add a new release to the GTA 5 mods so that other people will start using this as well. So, hope you enjoy it. Again, huge thanks to MuseTube for all his work on identify animations and tweaking and adding props. We wouldn't be here without him, and X Systems and Fixing Good and others contributing. Alright,